Investigators in North Mississippi are trying to figure out who poured lighter fluid down the throat of a 19-year-old woman, set her on fire, and left her there to die. We told you about this yesterday. Her name is Jessica Chambers. All this happened on Saturday in the small rural town in Panola County called Cortland. It's about 150 miles north of the state capital of Jackson. That's a little skewed, that map there, but you get the idea. Firefighters say they responded to a report of a car fire and then found the burned body of a teenager along a back road. They say she was not on fire by the time authorities got there, but she did have burns on nearly her entire body, everything according to her father but the bottoms of her feet. And her father says he was shocked to learn how bad it was. He says doctors told the family there was absolutely nothing they could do. We'd planned to speak with her father this hour, but his wife said understandably he's too upset. Some potential clues here. A fire chief says the teen whispered something to him. As she was dying, she whispered to the fire chief. And her father says what she whispered was the name of her killer. Investigators won't go that far with us. They'll say only that it gave them a very good lead. They're also checking through her cell phone. And about 90 minutes before firefighters arrived on this scene, Chambers, the 19-year-old woman, stopped at a convenience store to get gas. And there's surveillance tape or video of that stop at the store. She suddenly stops and walks out of the picture, then heads into the establishment there. A clerk says the victim would normally buy about $5 worth of gas, but that night she got more than twice that much. When he asked her why, she said, quote, "I'm going somewhere." And she was going to make a stop before going home. The clerk says on her way out, she got a call on her cell, came back into the store, bought some cigarettes, and drove away. The prosecutor says police have not yet made any arrests. And he told one of our producers this morning, the prosecutor said he can't yet determine whether this was a random attack. I expected to speak live with the prosecutor this hour, but just a little while ago he canceled, saying his work on the case had changed and would not permit him to be here. We don't yet know exactly what's going on, but we're working on it, and as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. In the meantime, let's bring in a lawyer. Arthur Aidala is a Fox News legal analyst and friend of the program. This happened on Saturday, and they've been searching and searching and searching, and finally they've been able to get all their ducks in a row, and it sounds like they're close to something, but what an unbelievable way to go.
It's horrific, and the autopsy report, one of the things that it shows is that the accelerant, whatever was used to cause the fire,
it was lighter fluid,
was up her nose, was in cavities of her body. And the problem for investigators, Shepard, is like the main evidence is burnt. They also believe he was in the, well, he or she was in the car with her, but the car's burnt up. All of her clothes, like normally it would go under her fingernails to see if she fought back. They said they can't tell whether or not there was a struggle or not, because that's all charred. All they're confirming is when the first responders got there, she did whisper something to them, but they won't say exactly what it is.
But the father says it's the name of the killer.
Right, and investigators say it's helping us resolve the case. The whole thing with the clerk is key. Like you said, she normally gets $5. He questioned her, why are you getting so much gas? And she says, I'm going somewhere. They initially thought she was going to a party or some event that night, but then when they saw the video and how she's dressed, her hair's in a bun, she's wearing camouflage pajama pants.
Yeah.
That's not consistent with somebody going out on a Saturday night to a party.
And then there's the phone call, goes outside the store, comes back in and buys cigarettes, and then goes again as if somebody might have said,
get some cigarettes for our car trip. So obviously that's what they're going through right now. It makes it that much more difficult. Hypothetically, if she was murdered with a stabbing or a gunshot, there's so much DNA, there's so much hair follicles and fibers that they could check. But when there's a fire, it's all gone.
Yeah,
so
I was going to ask you about that, because that was the plot line in How to Get Away with Murder, the program on ABC. These kids had killed somebody, and they're like, we have to set this body on fire because that'll get rid of all the DNA. Not always true. But I guess in this case, it would be your best bet.
98% of her body was burnt.
Everything but the bottom of her feet.
And the real problem here is, what's the motive? There's something going on.
Well, they've been through her computer.
Right.
So you wanted to just meet somebody online, or did she have a friend? Or there had been a previous relationship. We just don't know.
Correct. But you start thinking Jodi Arias type of situations. What motivates someone to do something so grotesque, so horrible? Usually, Shepard, it's matters of the heart. But like you said, there are copycats sick people out there who could have watched the television show, who could have gotten the idea and done something horrific as a random. And they haven't ruled out that this is just a random event.
A matter of the heart. One thing they say about if you are close, stabbing is kind of rare because it's such an emotional and a personal attack. Setting someone on fire while that someone is alive. Clearly, the someone was alive because she's whispering setting someone on fire and watching them burn to death. It's just beyond the scope. I don't know how.
It doesn't really get much worse than that. I mean, even in the Jodi Arias case, the autopsy said he died relatively quickly, and then she continued to mutilate his body. Here, she lived through the whole horror, and then the thing, Shepard, she lost her brother. These parents, her brother died in a car, right, 2 years ago, 2012. I mean, I can understand the dad not being able to come on air and speak with you.
So can I.
Grief is beyond
our hearts bleed
comprehension.
for them, and we will continue to follow this. Arthur, thank you.
Thank you.